Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here to discuss the new Atlan Immuta request for access integration. So as you can see, I'm logged into Atlan here. This is my context layer to understand all data that's at my fingertips. I'm an analyst that needs to do some analysis on patient data. So I'm able to find this patients table in Snowflake. It looks perfect to me. It's got all these columns that I need. So I'm going to go ahead and try to query it in Snowflake. So now I've left Atlan. I'm in Snowflake trying to run a query, and you can see I cannot. So lucky for me, we have this Immuta integration turned on. That's why this button is here, this request access button. So if I press this button, it's going to direct me out to Immuta to actually request access. And these request forms are completely configurable. I've got some questions in here that I configured. I also set up who does the approving for this particular asset. So I'm just going to say research is my reason, and then I love this integration a lot. I just wanted to put something silly in there just to prove that these forms are completely customizable. You can also add data use agreements that users can agree to. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this request. And when these requests get submitted, you can see we have this pending request here. That will fire off notifications in Slack and Teams to the appropriate folks that are assigned to do this approving or not. So let me go ahead and open up one of those people, which happens to be me. So if I go ahead and refresh this screen, we should see Ruby's request for access. So you can see her answers to the questions. I can see what data she's requesting access to and if she'll be approved or not. If I approve it, there's ways to set rules to block people from getting access through Immuta as well. I can see the data use agreement that she agreed to. So you can see the reviewers here. There's actually two sets of reviewers, someone from country United States and someone in the department of the office of the CIO. These can also be groups or permissions. You can assign these reviewers many different ways. I happen to meet both these criteria. So when I go to do this, I'm going to be able to do it for both. I'm going to be able to approve this request holistically. So another cool thing that we do is Immuta monitors all the historical approvals. And as you can see, 23 similar users have been granted access and nobody denied. Similar users is based on the attributes and groups of the requester. So this is saying low risk and to go ahead and approve. You can see you could also temporarily approve or deny. So I'm just going to go ahead and submit this determination. Okay, so now Ruby's approved. And this is where we get to the aha moment of the demo, if you will. This did not create a ticket where some admin now had to go into Snowflake and add Ruby to something. In fact, Immuta is Snowflake and pushing policies down into Snowflake, native policies in Snowflake. And this could be Databricks, Redshift, BigQuery, whatever data platform you're using. I just happen to be demoing with Snowflake here. So if Ruby requeries this patient table, she immediately now has access to it. So that's pretty exciting. We can see how we went from discovery at the context layer all the way down to being able to actually query data. How does this actually work? It's through the Atlan App Framework. So we integrated this. So if you go to workflows, you can see if you search for Immuta, you can just turn this on. And that's what gave us this very first-class button. That's why we were able to put this first-class button in the Atlan app. But okay, now let's switching gears for a second. Let's take this demo to a new level. Let's start talking about agents. Everyone's interested in how we manage agentic access. And how does the Atlan context layer plus Immuta fit into that story? So I'm going to actually open something else now. I'm going to go into Claude. And Claude is and my face went away there. But Claude, it could be Claude or it could be anything. I just happen to be using Claude for this demo, whatever you're using for your text-to-SQL interface. But my first question is going to be, hey, I need to ask a question about customer orders. Do we have relevant data to support that? And what this is going to do is it's going to reach out to Atlan over MCP and figure out if there's data available. So I'm going to go ahead and allow it to do this. And it says, hey, look, this is what I found in Atlan. We've got a customer orders fact table and a shipping rates lookup table. I'm like, okay, this seems like what I need. So I'm going to go ahead and ask a more detailed question of this data. And this is actually where Immuta comes into the picture. We have a capability called Agentic Data Access, where when a user asks a question of data, Immuta can look up their access and actually vend a role or a group, depending on the data platform, that represents that user's access on the fly. And so this allows you to have your business users come through these AI tools to ask questions of data without having with zero standing permissions in the data platform. You can simply define policies in Immuta, and we will vend that access on the fly for the agent, scope to what that user is allowed to see. So this user that I'm running this query with is allowed to see this table, but as you can see, customer name's redacted. And it's saying, hey, customer name's masked. Do you want to see it unmasked? And I could say something like, yes, I need to see customer names. Can we request a masking exception? And so this again is going to go through that request workflow, but instead of getting to it through like discovering the data in the Atlan UI, we actually discovered it through the AI LLM interacting with the Atlan context and Immuta knowing that customer name is masked. So I'm going to go ahead and request a masking exception. So this is going to allow me to see that mask data in the clear. And you can see this is a separate request form. And in this case, there's actually a rule here that is granting this user access for 1 hour automatically because I chose break glass fraud investigation as my intent. So again, this is updating the policies, and that vended role that was given to the AI agent through Claude via Immuta will see that update, and we'll be able to see this redacted column here, customer name, in the clear. So we could say, looks like I was automatically approved. Can we see that query again? And then this will just go ahead and run, and you'll see the data in the clear. Because again, Immuta is updating those policies on the fly and vending that access to the agent on behalf of the user here. So as this is running, just to recap, you have Atlan as your context layer. It understands what data is available. We have Immuta as the policy layer, understanding what data is available, but potentially not for that particular user. We blend these two things together. We're able to do these access requests on the fly. And that context, that data context from Atlan and the policy context from Immuta allows us to do this very intuitive workflow, AI workflow. And you can see now, we can see the users in the clear. So great, that's the demonstration. Love to chat more with folks that are interested. Again, a lot of this made possible with the Atlan App Framework, which was a very powerful way for us to integrate that button directly into Atlan. But thank you for watching.